Hi, everyone. Welcome to Coasters and Community, the podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Johnston, and we're talking how to build a brand in the theme park community. Each week, we hear from influencers, planners, vloggers, journalists, each as they share their own experience about building their brand within this community. Today, we're talking to YouTube vlogger Butch Bennett. You may know him on YouTube as Cooking with the Crazy Pop, but today we're talking with him about growing his other brand, Hanging with the Crazy Crew, in the theme park community. Let's get going. How in the world did Butch become interested in theme parks?
I grew up in Florida. My dad, basically, just since I was a little kid, I was always took me to Disney World, Busch Gardens, SeaWorld, Weeki Wachee, and I just grew up in the world of riding roller coasters and theme parks. And I guess one thing about me is I love to see other people happy. And I've seen that in theme parks that people just enjoy it. And that's just a place I like to be because it's a happy place. So I grew up going to Disney, like I say, Weeki Wachee and all that. And it's just, I just always enjoyed it. He instilled that in me at a young age, and I still love it.
So tell me how we get from all the way from that. How do we get to Hanging with the Crazy Crew? Where does that come from?
I always have loved theme parks. We've always vacationed around theme parks. And I'm going to say around 2017-ish, me and a friend at work was just talking about these YouTubers and, they're traveling and they're doing what they want to do. And I'm like, I can do that. Why can't I do that? They're doing it. Why can't I do that? So we basically just started vlogging our trips and just our adventures and even stuff we did at home. We do little challenges with the kids here at home, just having fun and all. But at the time, the channel was called The Crazy Pop.
And y'all started on YouTube, right? That was the original platform you were on?
The original platform was just YouTube, right? But then things kind of slacked off and we started doing cooking. And the cooking took off on The Crazy Pop channel. So you kind of ride the wave where it goes, but I did not want to stop the vlogging. I love going to theme parks, love taking the kids there, love vlogging, and there's people still had an interest in that. So we decided to split the channels up, and that's where now we hit Cooking with the Crazy Pop and Hanging with the Crazy Crew.
Okay, so if I went to Crazy Pop at the time, I might get a whole mix of anything. I could go anywhere from theme parks to cooking. Okay. So you said, hey, probably this might be a little confusing. Let's break it off and basically have our two niches that we're going with.
Exactly.
How did you the logo itself? Where did that come from?
I was just playing around on one day and just came up with that little logo, a little squiggly line and circle or whatever, and I just put the font in there. It was like I say that was the original Crazy Pop logo, and then I just changed it over to Hanging with the Crazy Crew. And
gotcha. So Hanging with the Crazy Crew, what was the goal at the time? What were you trying to accomplish?
There were several things that when I split it up and I named it Hanging with the Crazy Crew, the main thing is at first it was just the Crazy Pop. I'm like, well, that just includes me. I want to include others. Well, if you're hanging with us one day at the park, you're hanging with the Crazy Crew. So it's not necessarily just a certain group of people. Anybody can be in that group. So I wanted the name to encompass whoever's with me, whoever's hanging out with us that day, whatever.
Did you how long did it take you to get to that name?
A couple of days.
Yeah.
But see, we already called the kids the Crazy Crew anyhow. So I'm like, we're just kind of hanging with the Crazy Crew, And sometimes I think back now, like, I wish I'd have named it something else, but I'm like, it works. We'll just stick with this.
Early on in Hanging with the Crazy Crew, when you were kind of starting to go that direction, did you have any worries or anything that you were kind of concerned about at the time? Like as far as, hey, I'm going to go down this road and I want this to become a thing.
It's kind of, I just jumped in both feet because like I said, I did not want to stop the vlogging, just because I'm doing cooking. The cooking is really taking off. But the other concern is now I'm starting a brand new channel. I'm starting over again, You're still not monetized. I'm still going out doing this, making these videos.
Has the vlogging thing always been a very natural thing for you to do? You seem real natural at it. You're really good. You're really good at it.
The more I do it, the more comfortable I get. But no, when I first started doing it, I'd be holding the camera and I'm like, all right, who's watching me? Now I just put the camera up and talk to it, and I don't care.
Well, let's talk about the content itself. So,
Okay.
so just Butch, what is your favorite kind of content to publish on Hanging with the Crazy Crew?
Oh wow, that's a good question. Probably I love doing behind the scenes tours
Okay.
of on there because that's a unique experience. You don't get to always do it. I just published yesterday behind the scenes lights on tour of Boo Blasters there at Carowinds.
Okay.
Today we got the lift hill walk of Lightning Rod coming out. But that's probably my favorite type of content is behind the scenes stuff.
All right. So let me ask you this: between what you like versus what you see, videos you produced that have a lot of views, trends that you see on social media, how much does what you like influence what you produce versus what you see has a lot of views?
Well, I mean, that's one thing you do look at what's trending. Like, right now, so, there's a lot of festivals going on. So you got to really cover that. I enjoy covering the festivals. I do. But that's a lot of work to cover. Would say summer celebration at Dollywood.
Yeah.
You got to cover all the theming. You got to cover the food. You got to cover the activities. There's a lot to do. And then you got to try to put it in a format that kind of flows.
Yeah.
You don't want to just, here's some food. Oh, here's a fire hydrant. You just can't. It's got to have to me, you got to have a natural flow. Otherwise, you're going to lose the viewer.
Yeah.
So I try to record, and a lot of times I get messed up because I'm like, okay, what's the last thing I recorded? Or how did I say this? Because you kind of want to kind of lead into the next segment or whatever. So right now, festivals, and I love doing the festivals, but it's a lot more work to do the festivals than it is just say walk through Boo Blasters and
Yeah, no, you're right. There's a lot of organization involved, I guess, really, the content organization involved.
Yeah. And I guess it depends on what season it is, too, to what you're really going to focus on. Like, fall, well, you're going to focus on the fall celebrations. You're going to focus on, the Great Pumpkin Luminites and Scare Winds and whatever else is going on with these parks. And then, of course, then you got wintertime, the Christmas and all that. So a lot of that falls into place of what season it is to what we're really going to focus on vlogging,
So where do you predominantly get your content ideas? Or is it pretty much, hey, if this is going on, this is what we're doing. This is what we're covering.
That's pretty much it right there. If this is going on, it's pretty much what we're covering. But then I also got some ideas that I'm working on, like at Carowinds. I've already spoke to a couple people there, and they're going to help me out. I'm going to do, like, Carowinds is 50 years old this year. They're celebrating their 50th birthday. I'm going to go through and I'm going to make content about what's still original attractions, original buildings, and what they originally were 50 years ago. There's a lot there at Carowinds. People don't realize it's been there since day one. So I'm going to make a video of that. So that kind of goes along with their 50th celebration, but it kind of goes a little off to the left, I guess you say, of it. It goes with it, but it's not a celebration part.
Well, we were watching Expedition Theme Park and their history video of Carowinds, and I had no idea how much that park had changed over the years.
But that video he put out of Carowinds was really, really great.
It was great, wasn't it?
That was one of the best history videos I've ever seen.
So let me ask you this: so you've got YouTube, but you've also got Instagram, TikTok. You're on Facebook. Did I miss anything? Are you on Twitter?
I am, but I'm not active on Twitter that much.
Okay.
I need to be, but I'm just one more.
So all that said, how do you decide what's appropriate for what channel, or how do you kind of manage all those platforms?
Well, honestly, I'm really starting to get my feet wet in the Reels, the Instagram and Facebook Reels and TikTok. But usually I post the same reel on all three platforms. Maybe change up the music. That'd be about it.
Why do you change the music?
Because Facebook will demonetize the video compared to TikTok says it's okay.
Yep.
So different platforms have different rules.
Have you gotten into the YouTube Shorts very much?
Yes, I'm doing those also.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we say all that. We've got all these different platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of having to kind of pick and choose where we want to put stuff and kind of slightly modify based on the platform. Is there an overarching brand strategy for Hanging with the Crazy Crew in that, you have a content idea, you see something, whatever, something comes to you. Do you
Right.
have a really good handle on, hey, that's appropriate for my channel, for Hanging with the Crazy Crew, or that probably needs to go somewhere else, or we probably don't need to go in that direction? Do you feel like you have a good handle on that?
I think I do. Like I said earlier, I want my channel and branding, no matter what platform it's on, to be about, okay, that's fun, that's interesting, that's unique. I don't want it to be about, these silly pranks that can make somebody mad or harm somebody. I just do not want that to be any part of my branding. I want it to be, when you see my content, whether it be me in the content or me just showing a roller coaster or whatever it may be, you're like, wait a minute, that's pretty neat. I need to go check that out. And you want to follow me because of the content I put out.
Do you feel like at this point, for as long as you've been doing it, do you kind of know your audience? You feel like
Yes,
from the
yes,
engagement that you've had?
yes and no. I mean, the audience is always changing,
Yeah.
and the more you grow, the more you get a lot of negative comments too.
Do you really?
And,
So how do you
oh yeah,
how do you kind of deal with that criticism?
I'm always open to constructive criticism. I'm always saying, I'm never perfect. I never will be, and I'm always saying, well, I can do this better. I can do this better. Or so if you send me says, well, how come you didn't cover this? Well, I'll take that. It's like, maybe I should have covered that. And next time I make something that type of content, I'll take that consideration. But now, if you're just down out rude, a lot of times I just ignore it, won't even answer it, just kind of let that go by. I try not to be negative back in my responses.
Yeah.
So just kind of let it roll off your back. You're not going to please everybody. And the more I do social media, the more you got to realize there's some people out there just ain't going to like what you do.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Do you actively look for ways to keep the content fresh, to try new things? Is that something that's just always on your mind?
Yep. It is. And I watch it. I look at I watch reels and videos and TikToks and YouTube channels, whatever. And I watch their formats. I watch their content, and I don't want to say I copy it, but you try to mimic it depending on what's trending. If you see something and all of a sudden it went viral, well, I'm going to study that and say, well, why did this go viral? What made this? Was it the hashtags? Was it the content? Was it the formatting? Something made that video pop.
Yep. So you're always researching.
Yes.
For you, and I think I know the answer to this. What's the priority when you produce content? Is it the visual? Is it trying to get across an idea? Is it just, trying to provide information? What's the highest priority for you?
YouTube full-length format is more of an information and visual put together. I'm trying to create a content where you get value out of it, whether it be learning something or just an enjoyable video. Reels are more visual to me. I may make a lot of reels and never say a word. It could be just like, for whatever reason, I got one video of Nighthawk at Carowinds. It's just the seats are just laying down and it rolls out of the station. That's all it does. Nobody said a word. You can hear the people talking, and I put a little crazy little song to it or whatever. That's set at 2.4 million views right now for whatever reason.
That's on. Was that a short? A YouTube short?
It was on. Yep. I put it on YouTube. I put it on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Well, for whatever reason, on TikTok it blew up. The other ones, not so much.
Okay.
So,
all right, let me make a note on that then. Okay. So it sounds like to me you spend, at this point, you spend a lot of time on this brand, or on these. Yeah.
Well, and that's what's funny is that, like, I'm sitting here, on my laptop right now, and not since I'm self-employed, I guess you say, is I'm sitting here, like, I might be editing a video, I might be, watching these reels. The whole time I'm watching, like I said, I'm watching different things for it. I'm not just watching out of enjoyment. I'm actually studying it. I'm seeing what's going on. But my family's like, oh, you just sit on the computer all day. You're just playing on games. You're not doing nothing.
Yeah.
But the whole time I'm really working on the branding, the content, the formats. I'm really trying to find a way to get better every day. That's my goal, to try to make my next piece of content better than the last one I just put out.
Well, that's exactly what I was about to ask you. How do you feel like, or where specifically do you feel like you've improved over the years since this has kind of started for you?
Mainly vlogging, just talking to the camera naturally. Because when I first started, I felt like I had to be so proper. I couldn't stutter over a word. I couldn't mispronounce a word. If anybody was looking at me, I'm like, oh, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like people enjoy natural. People enjoy the real person.
Yeah.
If I stumble over words like, well, I can't get that out right, can I? And just kind of make fun of myself with it and just go. So I feel like I've become more comfortable,
Yeah.
and better just naturally just walk around the park vlogging. But
I know you said you spent a lot of time researching it. Have you come to a place where you can say that you found any correlation at all between, I produced this content type at this time with these tags, and I probably am guaranteed X number of views?
yes, mainly Scare Winds and like Winterfest and Great Pumpkin Fest, those festivals.
Yeah.
Uh I know if I vlog those, I'll get several hundred views within a week or two.
Okay. Just based on the content, not
Yeah.
necessarily any other. Yeah. Okay.
That's just based on the content, because people search that. It's very, very popular content. And the key to that is to go ahead and get it out quicker.
Okay.
Like the first or second night, and go ahead and Jackie, I was talking to her a month or so ago, super enthused.
Yeah.
And me and Dawn and all that, we invited her to go out to eat with us one night.
Yeah.
And she says, no, I got to go back to the room because she's at Dollywood that day. She went back to the room and got the went ahead and started working on the video.
Yeah.
And that's what she explained to us. She said, you got to put it out while it's relevant. She says, I know I want to go do this. I want to do this, but you got to go sit down and get it out while it's still relevant. Otherwise, it could be three days, a week later. Nobody's going to watch it no more because it's not relevant anymore, And she'll just not go somewhere that evening or whatever, just so she can get that video out the next morning,
Or, I mean, she may just not have wanted to go to dinner with you, Butch.
That's probably it.
I don't know that I can blame her, but maybe that was a great excuse.
I'm gonna go with the
first. Maybe it was just that.
It could have been that.
Do you have any kind of? Are you very careful with the way you tag? Have you seen it make a difference?
It does make a difference as far as the parks, my interaction with the parks, and with what I do with them, because they know I'm sharing the content and I'm doing this and doing that. Hashtags change almost daily anymore.
Yeah.
I search about once a week. What are the popular hashtags?
What are you using? What are you using to search that? How are you doing that?
I just go on Google and type in popular hashtags, like on Instagram, popular hashtags.
Yeah.
And actually now the things that come out like popular hashtags for Instagram, July 2023,
Yeah.
But sometimes hashtags ain't the best to use because they're so overused,
Yeah. Yeah, trying to see. So it's almost better to find a niche hashtag sometimes. Depending on the content.
And I try to use that too. Like if I'm at Dollywood, I'll hashtag Dollywood, even though we'll say there's only 50,000 hashtags for that, where I could tag hashtag fun, and there's 4 billion of that.
Yeah.
But you kind of get lost in the commotion if you got too many,
Yeah, it's almost like you from just what I've seen, the people I've talked to, it's almost like you are better just to kind of go niche with the hashtags. And then just be smart about if you just really want to jump on a trend, a timely trend, then go ahead and include the big hashtag, right? But beyond that, it's almost like you're just better to kind of stick smaller. Do you have an engagement strategy with your followers? Do you try to reply to a certain amount of comments, DMs over the course of a week? How do you handle that without getting overwhelmed?
I try to reply to every comment. I mean, because I'm not so big that I'm getting thousands of comments, but yes, I try to reply to every comment within a day or two of them posting it. Try to reply that day if I can. Yeah. I'm not busy doing, tired of doing a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I make it a point to reply because I feel that's a very important part. If you leave a comment on a Facebook reel or a YouTube video or whatever, and the creator comments back to you, that kind of creates a connection. And hey, wait a minute, they took the time to read my comment.
Yeah.
And I want my followers to feel that about me. That, hey, wait a minute, he took the time to read my comment and respond to me. I like this. I want to, keep engaging with this.
I mean, it only takes that one time to create that connection, doesn't it?
That's right. I mean, you can break it right there. You really could, just in the comments.
Let's talk about your tools that you use for your editing and any kind of analytical tools that you use. Tell me about those.
My editing software I need to get better. I cannot do it on the phone. I cannot edit on this thing right here.
Can you not?
No.
Okay.
I've never tried. I have the software on it to do it. I just don't.
It's my favorite to use. I do everything I do it on the phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Everything. My favorite tool is Video Leap.
Video Leap. I'll have to look into that. I'll definitely have to check that out. Because that would really help out getting the videos out quicker.
Yes.
Because we say CoasterCon last week, we did CoasterCon, for 3 or 4 days at Dollywood. We did the mountain coasters, then over at Carowinds. And now this week, I'm sitting here just putting all this stuff together and getting all these files off my phones and cameras and everything else and trying to put it all back into place.
Yeah.
Or if I could do it right then, it'd be a lot quicker.
Yeah. And the did you say you do or you don't use any kind of analytical tools?
Yes and no. I have TubeBuddy and vidIQ downloaded to my YouTube studios.
You're the third person I've talked to that uses TubeBuddy. What are your thoughts on it?
I like it because it gives me suggestions about keywords and hashtags to possibly use and where they rank and whatever.
Okay.
And same with vidIQ, it does the same thing.
Why do you have both? What's the value of having both?
You can kind of compare the two and see if anything matches up.
Okay. Does it typically? Or is it kind of all over the map?
Typically it does. There's a few times it don't, but typically overall it does. And it gives you vidIQ will give me, like I type in a title for a video. Okay. It'll give me the SEO, search engine optimization score for them keywords.
Yep.
And so, yeah.
Both of those are paid, right?
TubeBuddy is actually free, but it does have a paid subscription to it. Okay. vidIQ, I think, is a small. I think it's like $20 a year or something. It's very low.
Okay. All right. Outside of your channels, do you do any other promotion for Hanging with the Crazy Crew?
Well, I mean, we have stickers, we hand out and stuff like that,
But predominantly you use kind of the synergy between the platforms to kind of promote the content. I got you. Yep. Would you still say that YouTube is still primarily the hub or the kind of the center of of what you like to produce, and then everything else kind of feeds it?
Yes and no. I'm really seeing the trend more toward Reels and on Facebook and Instagram. TikTok, the thing about TikTok is there's not a whole lot of and I hate to say like I'm money hungry, but there's not a lot of monetary value there,
Okay.
You get noticed, but TikTok's one of them platforms you really got to be careful. Good example is me and Bryson, the 8-year-old, we went over to Georgia about a month ago to do a commercial shoot for Air Force One, the roller coaster Air One spot.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there in the hotel room the night before, and he's like, let's go live on TikTok. I said, okay, we'll just talk about what we're going to do tomorrow. Great idea. Don't know why to this day, but 7.5 minutes into that stream, the stream cuts off, and we supposedly broke community guidelines. We don't know what we did. And so I could not even stream again for the 14 days.
Really?
No appeals, nothing can be done. So TikTok's one of them platforms that one person can just turn you in and all your whole platform is gone. And I've seen it happen to people with millions of followers. That's why they make these secondary accounts. So TikTok's one of them platforms. I mean, I post to it and it gets you recognized, but past that, I don't really see a lot of value in TikTok. I've seen a lot of the creators, especially really big creators, kind of migrating over to Facebook and Instagram,
When you shoot content, is it a situation where you focus primarily on let's get the vlog and then everything else is kind of ancillary?
Yeah, it depends. We'll just take like Carowinds right now is doing the Grand Carnival, the Mardi Gras Festival. The first time we was there and I seen the parade come through, I focused on Reels and TikToks, I just kept my phone vertical the whole time like this. And
yeah,
I went back the other day. I said, well, I need YouTube content. So now I'm like this, recording. Uh,
And the only reason I
there
ask
is a
that
way
is,
you can do it, edit it, but it's just harder to do. So it's just
yeah.
easier if I were to record it in the right format.
And the reason I ask is that's something I struggle with. So if I go to a park with a lot of different priorities and a lot of different agendas and things I'm trying to capture, it's just so easy for me to get lost in the mix of, hey, I need to grab this, let me get it vertical, let me get it horizontal, let me get it a picture, let me get a video. It's just, what I
It's
mean?
like when I went to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg with Just Out and About. We went to go to do the Dark Coaster opening. I've never been to that park ever. So of course I have to vlog it for YouTube, because it's my first experience, whatever. But the whole time I'm there, I'm also thinking, wait a minute, this would be an awesome reel. This would be awesome TikTok, whatever.
Yeah.
So in between me recording for YouTube, I'm over here, got the phone up the whole time recording, the splashing coming down from the log flumes, or this roller coaster pulling out of the station or something.
One thing I also struggle with is kind of organizing, keeping everything kind of organized, videos, pics, everything. Do you kind of have a system for that? Or is it one of those things you just get everything you can get, and then when you have time, you kind of move them all off into their own folders? How do you manage all the?
And that's what I do. Most of my vlogging now is done with this. I do have some vlogging cameras and stuff like that, but it's just easier for me to carry my cell phone around the park and a charger.
Yeah.
And so then I get back home, I'll actually hook it up to the laptop, and I go through my whole gallery, and I say, okay, all this is Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Let me transfer this over to a folder, whether it be the TikToks, the reels, and everything. And then from there, I'll make it to a subfolder, like all just the reels, and that way I have it more organized. Gotcha. But and there again, that's time consuming. You got to sit here and separate all your stuff. Especially like last week with CoasterCon, I have mountain coasters, then I have Dollywood, then I have Carowinds. And on top of that, we had 2 media days at Carowinds to separate. So, we had a lot of content last week that I got to go through and separate out.
I know when I'm walking around taking video, all I'm thinking is, oh my gosh, that's just yet another video on the pile. I've got to figure out where I have to go back and sort through and try to remember what I was thinking at the time.
Yeah, mentally, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. What
I recorded and how I recorded it when I went, whatever. So when I go back through, I can look at it and say, okay, this is this. Sometimes you just gotta watch the clip and see what it is and move it where it belongs.
Yeah. When we were at Disney World, I guess 2 weeks ago now, I was really conscious of if I take a picture or something, if I take a video, and if I know I'm not going to use it, I just delete it on the spot. Get rid of it. For a while there, I was just thinking, let me get everything I can, then I'll go back and delete it. But man, you wind up with spend so much time just getting rid of junk.
See, that's where I'm at now. I'm just now starting to get, okay, well, that didn't record like I wanted to. Let me delete that.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not happy with it in the moment, you're never going to be happy with it.
Right.
Right.
A month ago, I'd be like, well, let me just record it again. Next thing I got 5 shots that's logged, and I only wanted the one,
Yep.
So I'm getting there where I'm starting to delete on site, and I don't have as much junk, but nowhere near where I need to be.
What so at this point I know we talked about the goal initially. Is it still that same goal today for hanging with the crazy crew, or what drives you now?
I guess just the enjoyment of doing it, honestly. It's of course, the goal is also to make money. Y'all would love to make money doing this. You'd love to do it for a living. But, it's not like if I don't do it, I'm going to give up and whatever. It's just, the goal has become now is just enjoy it. Enjoy it and share the moments that I'm with. That's really what the channel is supposed to be about,
So somebody starting out wanting to do the same thing that you do, wanting to be the next Butch. I don't know why you would want to be that, but whatever.
Don't do that.
No. Lord. What advice would you have for them?
Just be yourself and have fun. Don't worry about if you're walking through the park vlogging, somebody's looking at you, because guess what? They're probably wanting to know what channel you are. They're not making fun of you. Just be yourself and have fun. Enjoy it, because you only got one trip through all this. Have fun. Just whatever you do, don't do it because you have to do it. Do it because you want to do it.
If you need help planning your upcoming theme park vacation, I recommend reaching out to, me. I've spent years learning the ins and outs of theme park vacation planning and would love to help you plan your next visit to destinations like Walt Disney World, Disneyland, and Universal Orlando. Get started by going to nextstopaaron.com and clicking Plan a Trip. It was so great hanging out with Butch today. And if you can't tell, the same Butch that you see on YouTube is the same Butch in real life. And I think it's that authenticity that drives and continues to help grow his brand hanging with the crazy crew. I also think it's a great lesson to anyone building a brand in the theme park community. Authenticity is so important, and you can't fake it. So we are at episode 5 of Coasters and Community Season 1, 5 more episodes to go, and I think you're going to be really interested to hear from the guests on the back half of this season. They have some great things to talk about with regards to building a brand in the theme park community. We'll see you next time.